Committee working with the Corps and Public Works to finalize the project timeline. And then secondly is to authorize Tony Blumentritt surveying to do the survey work
Correct.
as requested in his, or as outlined in his, quote to us.
So all those surveys, if and when they get done, they'll all be documented and sent to the county and everything.
Tony's price is actually because he's already got a lot of them done, so his price is down because of that. So he has the information, he just has to get it to us and get it on the print, and then get it documented with Tony. Otherwise it'd be a much higher price.
He did a lot
During
when
the
we were
levy
doing that,
project.
actually, what
Oh,
we
yeah.
said during the levy project.
So that will then become part of the landowner's
I don't know the answer to
abstract
that.
or deed, it would
Yeah,
become
you'll
an
have to-
amendment or
it'll
whatever?
get filed, yeah, it'll get recorded.
It's recorded on there.
Yeah,
And
okay.
an amendment.
And then we'll have that information as well, either here or we can get it from Tony if we need it.
And we'll have a really good permanent record
And we'll have a good
going
map,
forward.
have a good map to show. So if there's a dispute, like our one tree dispute still is standing. Yeah.
That's not the one over by,
It's the bridge.
Brooklyn Bridge, yeah.
oh boy. Midnight cutter.
So we don't need a motion to continue with this, just consent?
No,
Right.
well, we're not ready for that.
Well, I mean, we're just saying, continue working on it.
Continue working, but
Yeah.
we do need to.
But we needed a motion on the Blumentritt land
Blumentritt?
survey.
Well, I'd make a motion that we
You
accept
second.
Blumentritt's deal.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Dahl, seconded by Mr. Colbinson. Any other questions?
What it was, do you want to look at cross section?
You didn't have any of the information that we needed.
Nothing.
All right, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes, thank you, and thank you guys.
Thank you.
And then not to muddy this up any, much further, but we have this interior flooding issue in town. And so you're gonna see some information from Bar Engineers on what they're proposing for us to do, a study to determine if there's any properties we can eliminate. It could just be that we need updated elevation data. Or we may have to actually put some programs into effect and do some projects to make sure that we don't have any interior flooding that would affect homes' stormwater flooding. So just be prepared, you'll get some information on that in the next month or so. So there's two issues. There's this issue with the Corps, and then FEMA, even though they've approved our levy, that's on the wet side, on what they call the dry side, the interior, we have another issue with them that we're still working on.
The interior drainage ditch pumping stations or that were approved, they're not gonna do it, or what?
They've changed their modeling,
No red.
and so, the 100-year floods that happen every 5 years, they're taking that into account, that there's more water than what they had originally developed their modeling for. And so they're saying, using the new numbers, can your system handle all the inundation of the rainfall? And their preliminary data, they came back and they said, you've got areas in Rushford that will be inundated and you'll have flooding on the inside because you can't get rid of the stormwater fast enough. We don't believe that that's true, but we have to prove it to them. So that's what we're gonna bring the plan back and say, this is our approach to how we're going to prove what, that we can handle the storm water. And then if it's required, we'll have to make some decisions. Is it just extra pumps that we need to buy? Do we need to build some more storage, holding areas, more pipes, more whatever? We'll decision going forward. So we got two issues, Corps and then FEMA. They also use what we think was, overflight data for the elevation, and we don't think that that's, well, we know it's not as accurate as it will be if you take actual readings on the ground. So we think when we take those readings on the ground, we might be able to eliminate quite a bit of this. We're hoping, it could be that it doesn't eliminate anything, but we're pretty confident that it will eliminate quite a bit of the issue. We can prove to them that their data was wrong, and then those areas that still might be inundated, we'll have to figure out another technique to move the water out. But we didn't think the council would want to just go to the homeowner and say, you need to purchase flood insurance. We would think that you would want us to come up with a program to keep that from happening. So our assumption's right, correct?
Better off.
Yes.
And now when you go to purchase flood insurance, you gotta have a height reading, so many feet
An elevation certificate.
elevation. You gotta have it surveyed,
Correct.
cost you $400 to have it surveyed for me to come back and get insurance. I just dropped mine.
And they also raised the rates considerably. I think they tripled them.
I
That's
read
it.
that Roseau,
You read the news, it just hit in this spring. People that were paying like $900 a year, it's gone up to over 3,000.
Really?
Yeah.
I was paying $319, I think, $369, that's what it was.
so when we get this interior elevations done, we'll have a map set up to tell whether or not your house is in the flood zone. We'll be able, cause it's an interior flooding, it's from rain, not from the river or creek, it's from rain. And then we'll talk about my stormwater.
We lowered Roger's house.
That would help my house out.
Yeah, that would
glad I'm
affect
higher
his
than
neighbors
Roger's.
positively,
Do you have
so.
a basement?
Yes,
Fill it in.
Well, that's one of the things we were looking at, was digging a really large holding pond underneath his house. And
Still.
draining all the water underneath it.
Even out back.
Little koi pond.
Yeah, koi pond, that's what I was thinking myself.
That'd be a good
Just
deal.
back there.
Dig a hole under